being married to your offers has to go. You have to find a way to develop a mindset where you're like, I don't give a shit about this offer. You have to give a shit about growth. Now, huge caveat with that. I need you to be super fucking passionate about your offer. However, if you have poured all of your heart into an offer and it turns out that it's not selling, that the market says no thanks, I need you to start cutting your losses. Welcome to the Your Business Untethered podcast, a space for freedom seekers ready to build and scale a business that supports their wildest dreams, even while traveling the world. Hi, I'm Dina, creator of Way of the Founder and your host. I imagine this podcast as a space where aspiring and established freedom entrepreneurs come to forge a path towards purpose, financial freedom, meaningful impact, and location independence. I'll be your guide as we defy the norm, heal old conditioning, and step into the leaders we were born to be. I myself am a firstborn, a daughter of divorcee, sister, girlfriend, professional coach, nomad, and expat of a decade plus, as well as yoga aficionado and energy healer. In my previous career, however, I worked a 9-to-5 as a professional fundraiser for American orchestras. Can you believe it? However, I needed more. I needed more freedom in my life. So 5 years ago, I called quits on resume success and claimed back the reins over my own life. What started with a one-way ticket to Vietnam and a single backpack filled to the brim has since grown into Way of the Founder, where I've helped hundreds of clients defy and heal from the path they were told to follow, redefine freedom, fulfillment, and success on their own terms, and build impact-driven businesses that let them live and work from anywhere. Join me each week for deep dives into leadership, strategy, and mindset, as well as the feeling that fuel the untethered CEO. That's you. Whether you're building your dream with a coconut flight ticket, wine glass, or coffee in hand, you are in the right place. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome back to another episode here at Your Business Untethered. I'm super excited for today's topic. We will talk all CEO mindset shifts that you need to stop being your own employee and start building a freedom-based business. Because let's be real, you did not start your business become your own worst boss, which kind of tends to happen in the beginning. If you're still thinking like an employee, running after perfection, working harder instead of smarter, you are keeping yourself stuck at the same level, even though you're technically the one signing off on your proverbial paychecks. In today's episode, we are getting into the shifts that have to happen if you want to step into the CEO role of your freedom-based business. We're going to talk money, offers, hiring, value, delivering, why your dreams need a boss way more than you do, and who that boss is. Because it's your future self. It's the dreams that you say you're building towards. That is your boss. But we'll get into the details of what I mean by that in just a second. If you've been feeling like you're doing everything right, but still not seeing the freedom, income, or momentum that you want, you're going to want to listen to this episode. It's not just about working harder. It's not just about thinking differently. It's about actually becoming a business owner, becoming a CEO. So let's get into this. So as always, I just want to take the first few seconds to kind of set the scene, right? Because I wasn't dropped on this planet as someone who was a perfect business owner. Mind you, I'm far from being a perfect entrepreneur right now. I mean, what does that even mean, right? I've just learned a lot of things along the way, which I'm here to tell the tale about, right? But when I first started as a business owner, all of my business knowledge sort of like packed its bag and left the room for a few years, really. And I was very much thinking and acting like an employee. I was not so much going for perfection. I always had the like shabby entrepreneur in me and dialed in. But I was looking for permission. I was looking for approval. The money that came in, I treated it as a paycheck to be spent, not as revenue to be reinvested. There were just so many ways in which I was being my own employee. And, being my own employee as a boss, on the other hand, it's small things. Like I wasn't giving myself enough time off, right? Like if I had actually been someone's boss and had actually treated someone other than myself, which I never would have done, the way I was treating myself, like someone would have come knocking on my door and like screwed my head on right. And we all do that. Like, just in your head, give me a heads up or give me a thumbs up if this resonates as true, right? You tend to take less time off in the beginning of building your business. You tend to treat yourself worse than you ever have been treated or would ever treat someone else as an employee. Again, the caveat always, it's such a lie that you can build a business in 10 hours a week. You can't. You can sustain a business with working 10 hours a week after you have built it with significantly more time invested upfront. But even as we are being super disciplined in growing our business, we still have to look at, how am I treating myself? So that's just one of the small pieces that I'm going to dive into in this episode today about how we need to make the shift away from being an employee and like grinding away towards being a CEO. But then there are also some strategic ways in which we just have to begin to think differently of what we put into the world from when we were an employee versus now when we are being an entrepreneur. So the first thing is really, it's a little mindset, but mostly it's just how we think of money. Entrepreneurs, by design, have to think of and spend money differently from how employees think of and spend their money. As an employee, right, we still may have a really, really good mindset as an employee when it comes to money, really good handle on our finances, savings, investments, and what we earn. We now distribute across different channels, including spending, including investments, including savings, etc., including debt. As an entrepreneur, the money that we earn isn't regular, especially in the beginning. It's likely not regular, right? So we have to do two things that we sort of have to wrap our heads around. One is the money that comes in, especially in the beginning, the revenue that comes into our business is meant to be reinvested into the business to help it grow more quickly. Nothing else. The second thing is the revenue that comes into our business is very different from the paycheck that used to come into or used to be deposited into our bank accounts. Paycheck, all the money that we actually get into our bank account is ours. Tax has already been taken out of that. As entrepreneurs, we still have to pay tax off of that. And again, there's no guarantee, especially in the beginning, that you will get whatever revenue you just made yesterday, that you'll get the same 15 or 30 days from now again. So you have to split up the revenue that you make in a significantly different way, right? So this is just a reminder. This may be like finance 101 for you and you're like, no, absolutely, I got this. Still a reminder. If you're new to business, you need to start treating your money differently. Now, there's also a mindset shift when it comes to money that we have to make, right? We have to move into long-term growth thinking. Money doesn't really come into money that comes into our business is not meant to stay stagnant inside our business, waiting to be spent or saved. We have to start thinking of money, and this is the mindset piece, as this constant flow, as this constant river that flows in and out, and it is a tool to be used. Like I don't acquire a hairbrush to not use it, to just have it sit there for a rainy day. I acquire a hairbrush to use it every single day. It's a tool. So as an entrepreneur, we want to start thinking of our money as a tool. One utility that tool has is absolutely to pay out dividends or even a salary, depending on how you're registered as a business, to yourself on the regular basis. Absolutely. But then beyond that, how are you putting your money to use so that it can work for you, so that it can grow via investments, so that it can grow by growing or by helping grow your revenue of your business. Money for an entrepreneur is fuel for growth, does not directly equate lifestyle upgrades. Long term, absolutely, your business should help you massively upgrade your lifestyle. Now in the short term, take that money, reinvest it back into the business so that you get to upgrade your lifestyle more massively down the line. Next one, purpose of your team. As an employee, we're being hired to build someone else's dream. As an entrepreneur, we want to move into a space where we hire a team to help us build our dream. Employees are always hired to support the founder's vision. Cookie points, if you can make it so, obviously, and that's always the intention, for the employee to also fulfill their potential within the organization. But at the end of the day, the buck stops with the founder, stops with the owner of the company. That's you. like you want to start thinking of hiring your team, your VA, your OBM, as though you are hiring to protect and expand your own vision. Your hires should multiply your impact or enable you to multiply your impact, not just lighten your to-do list. Like, as I'm recording this, I'm literally in the process of interviewing VAs and fielding applications. And I did say this in the application, but when people hear VA, they're like, inbox zero. I'm like, I don't give a damn about inbox zero. Like, honestly, could not care less right now. How can you help me increase my bottom line, what I'm interested in? Now, this obviously side note, right? Like, I'm not crazy. This is a VA position. It's not yet a strategic position. So I still set the strategy. I know exactly what I want my VA to get their hands on in order to help me increase my bottom line, right? But I think you get the point, right? Why are you hiring? What is your role as a CEO? Your role as a CEO is not to work in the business. It is to work on the business. This is really the bottom line of this point about hiring your team, right? Who do you need to hire in order to expand your vision? What is something, even if you enjoy doing it, what is something that other people can do just as well as you can, or even better or faster than you can? These are the things that you want to start hiring out for as quickly as possible. Not in the very beginning. You still have to learn all of the chops in the beginning yourself, but soon enough, you'll want to look at, okay, wait a minute, what are all of the tasks that are pulling me away from the bigger vision, that are pulling me out of my zone of genius, that are actually having me work inside the business, inside the email list, inside the email sequence, inside editing my podcast, that is just a completely different mindset, a completely different part of your brain, so to speak, than actually carrying forth the vision and working on the business. Employees work in the business, founders, entrepreneurs work on the business. Make sure that you are working on the business. Being married, this is the fourth point, being married to your offers has to go. You have to find a way to develop a mindset where you're like, I don't give a shit about this offer. You have to give a shit about growth. Now, huge caveat with that. I need you to be super fucking passionate about your offer. However, if you have poured all of your heart into an offer and it turns out that it's not selling, that the market says no thanks, I need you to start cutting your losses. I need you to start looking at this and go, okay, great. Where are we bleeding money? And by the way, this doesn't only apply to offers. This applies to running ads. This applies to hiring, to your team. This applies to subscriptions, to software that you pay for. Where are you bleeding money? Just because you have the money doesn't mean that you should just spend it lavishly, right? Where are you bleeding money? Where are you having to cut your losses because you're not seeing the return on investment that from a cold-hearted business perspective, you know you need to see in order to grow your business? A business that doesn't grow soon enough is a business dead in the water. Your offers aren't your baby. Your vision is, your goals are, your dreams are, your purpose is. That is your baby. That, be married to that. Be married to carrying forth the torch, the flashlight towards the vision that you see for yourself, for your community, for your clients, for the world at large. But if the one offer that you thought would help you get there doesn't work, toss it. Be married to growth, be married to your vision, but not to the single one email or piece of content or even offer. And again, like, that's not to say don't pour your heart into your offers. Please do. But take note of when it's time to stop pouring. Fifth piece, perfection versus progress. Employees are trained to seek approval and avoid mistakes. Entrepreneurs, on the other hand, are rewarded if and only when they make progress and do so in a speedy way. So this is so important. And on a previous guest episode with Divi, who is the founder of Jungly, if you haven't listened to that episode, I highly recommend that you go back and listen to it. He talks so beautifully about how you have to be a shabby entrepreneur in order to become a great business owner, which is to say that, like, employees' mindset, right? Employees seek approval. We literally go to our bosses, or we used to go to our bosses and go like, hey, like, this is my proposal. Can I please have your approval, your sign off on that for me to get started on that? The only personified thing that needs to, quote, sign off on your ideas is whether or not this idea helps you make good on your purpose and whether or not this idea helps you actually move towards the dream life that you envision for yourself. And then I need you to start progressing towards your purpose, towards your vision with speed. The faster you can get to market, the faster the market can give you feedback, the faster you can pivot. Done is better than perfect every single time. You can perfect later. In fact, you can perfect much more easily and much more market alignedly. That's not correct, but we'll go with that. If you've given the market, if you've given your audience, your clients even, an opportunity to give you feedback. A business is not built behind the screen. Even an online business is not built behind the screen. You have to come out from behind your keyboard, your screen, and actually go and talk to people. ChatGPT can't help you with that. You have to go out and talk to people, progress over perfection. Now, let's talk more about money. When are we as entrepreneurs getting paid? Are we getting paid when we pour a lot of time and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into our offers? Nope. No, we don't. We only get paid as entrepreneurs if we provide value. And if the value that we provide matters to the audience that we have. Employees get paid for time spent, more or less. We do not, as entrepreneurs, get paid for time spent. We get paid when we deliver value. That's why working harder won't necessarily yield better results in your business. Now, working smarter, like what does that even mean? It means that you have to work in a purpose-aligned way, that you have to go and do the uncomfortable things, that you have to let progress supersede perfection. That's what's meant when we say work smarter. Working harder, working yourself into the ground, even working or creating a business that kind of works, but that you're the bottleneck of, meaning the moment you step away, everything sort of falls apart. That's not a sustainable business. That's not a purpose-aligned business, because a purpose is supposed to be bigger than you. It's supposed to be carried forth even if and when you step away temporarily or permanently. It's not a scalable business. So it's not about how much you can work. It's not about how many hours you work. It's about how much value do you create doing the hours that you do work. So if you're busy, if you're overwhelmed with all of the things, take a step back. What are the tasks that you do on the daily, on the weekly, that actually drive value? At that point, I want to talk about accountability, right? Employees, we're kind of being, or we used to be, on track by a boss, right? It's like, this is the deadline that my boss is giving me, that my board has given me. These are the goals that my board has given me that I have to work towards. If I don't, I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to lose my income, right? Extrinsic motivation. Something outside myself has motivated me to do this work. That's what's called extrinsic motivation. We don't really have that, besides other than the fact that we do live in a society where we actually need to have money, thus make money in order to live. But other than that, entrepreneurs, our accountability are our dreams and our future self. That is what's called intrinsic motivation. That's that drive. That's when you suddenly just fall into a trance and just, boom, 12 hours have gone by and you've just been sucked into this vortex of working and putting out and creating and building your business. That is intrinsic motivation. That is what we mean when I say purpose-aligned business. Money motivates you, but you know what motivates you as a purpose-driven business owner even more and much more significantly? It's the impact that you make. It goes back to value. It's the value that you provide to the market. It's the impact that you make on your people, on your clients, on your community, on the world at large. Now, how is that your accountability? Well, your accountability is that. Your accountability is your dreams, is your future self. What would the version of you who's already hit these freedom goals of yours do today? And on the flip side of that, if you didn't do the thing that puts out value, that drives progress, that drives value, that drives impact, that increases the bottom line today, like figuratively speaking, would you want to go into a meeting with your future self 5 years from now and say, I'm so sorry, but I was lazy. I didn't do it. I guess we can't live our dream life. I guess we can't affect 1,000, 1,000,000, a bajillion people's lives. Oopsie, I was too lazy. No, you don't. You don't. Your future is your strictest boss and your biggest supporter. So what is it that the future of you who's already hit your freedom goals would do today? And then can you go and do it? Can you go after your goals for your sake, for your purpose's sake, for your dream's sake, for your future's sake? And if that's not enough, then look beyond yourself. Like, who besides yourself does your success matter to? Your family. Be specific. Be specific. That is your accountability. A coach will hold you accountable, but honestly, the job of a coach is not to hold you accountable. The job of a coach is to help you find that place of internal accountability, of intrinsic motivation, of purpose that will drive you no matter what. That's the job of a coach. So don't go and say, I just need to hire a coach to hold me accountable, but I don't have money to hire a coach, so I guess I can't be self-accountable now. Yes, you can. And I've just told you how. Now, the final piece that we need to talk about in shifting our mindset away from being that of an employee towards being an entrepreneur is stability versus expansion. As employees, or let me put it a little more drastically, most people who want to become business owners but are remaining in their 9 to 5 tell me this. They say, it's just too good here. I have it really well right now. Like, I have this stable paycheck. My company pays me well. Why should I leave? Guess it's not bad enough for them just yet, right? Like, stability is, how can I say this? Stability is the nemesis of expansion in life when we don't make the leap into entrepreneurship. And also in entrepreneurship, if what you're going after in entrepreneurship is stability, good luck. Let me know when you found it. Honestly, let me know when you found it. Like, it's not there. It doesn't exist. Even in employment, stability is a ruse. But it's one that factually is a little easier to believe in than in entrepreneurship. In entrepreneurship, rather than looking for stability, look for expansion. And that does mean that you're going to have to take risks. That is the whole definition of entrepreneurship, I guess. I haven't looked this up before I started this recording, but entrepreneurs take a risk, a financial risk, an emotional risk, a risk of their time, of their own capital, in order to pursue a future and a vision that only they see and provide and deliver solutions that only they see to problems that they see being available or being just there in the market. Risk is the very thing that makes entrepreneurship go around, right? We're all going for a dream, for a vision that no one else but us sees. We have to do a really good job at bringing our team into the fold about our vision. We have to do a really good job at showcasing the path or the part of the path that we see towards that vision to our audience and our clients. But we're still taking a risk because you're building a reality that no one but us sees. So yes, make sure that you're financially healthy and taken care of. I'm not saying to be irresponsible with your finances. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying with the capital that is available to you beyond what you need, are you willing to take a risk? This goes back to, how does money flow in and out of your business? How are you using money as a tool? As CEOs of entrepreneurial ventures, we have to embrace expansion. And that requires us to be okay with uncertainty. That requires us to be okay with betting on ourselves when no one else is. That requires us to understand that no one can believe in us harder than we can believe in ourselves. You have to believe in yourself harder than your biggest supporter. So I hope this was helpful in helping you look at what are the inner mindset shifts that I have to make in order to truly build a business that will allow me to fully embrace my purpose, fully embrace my idea, my definition of freedom. Please let me know, again, as always, in a review on Apple Podcasts, in a comment on Spotify, or just in a private DM, which one of these points resonated the most with you, and what are you going to do about it? And as we close, I do, as always, want to drop in here and let you know what's happening in the world of Way of the Founder. This is just to tell you how you can plug into this world a little more closely. We have 2 things open right now. We have just opened the doors for pre-sale of my prime identity revealing and expanding course called Trauma to Freedom. This is where you'll turn your parent wounds, your inner people pleaser, even childhood trauma into fuel for becoming who you were meant to be. The work we do inside this course is the backbone for so many of my and all of my clients' wins. We slay shame, we learn to embody forgiveness, move from people pleaser towards strong boundaries, and learn to rewire your brain for freedom and abundance. So if you're ready to let go of your narratives that are holding you back, you're getting the sense that maybe there are some grudges, there's some resentment that's holding you back in business, but you aren't quite ready for private coaching, this is such a beautiful space. I promise you, it is going to be identity revealing and life changing. So this is the course called Trauma to Freedom. I'm going to run it live in parts. So if you plug in now, you'll gain access to a couple of Q&A sessions with me. Right now, we are at more than half off the full price until May 26th. We're pre-sale right now. That's $224 USD right now instead of the full $595, but only until May 29th. Link is in show notes. I'm also still keeping the doors open for Freedom Business Mastermind. If you sign before June 1st, then you'll get either one of my programs, it could be Trauma to Freedom, or a private coaching call complimentary. Again, my mastermind is for those who are ready to graduate from being a rebel to becoming a visionary, from being a founder to becoming a CEO, like we talked about in today's episode, and just become a global business owner who knows their shit and who's willing to have the bigger conversation. We have the big and the deep and the existential conversations inside the mastermind. We take care of all of the strategy. We take care of all of the scaling. We help you scale beyond 5 figures and well into the 6 figures in this mastermind. But most importantly, we have the big, deep dive, heartfelt leadership conversations that we need to have in order to truly embody our goals. So if you want to grab the link in the show notes to schedule a call with me, call is completely no strings attached to figure out if this is a good fit for you. Go ahead and do that. Go ahead and give yourself that gift of saying yes to yourself and to your goals. Let me know what resonated with you from this episode. Please leave a review. I love you forever for doing that. It helps the show so much. And as always, create more freedom today than you did yesterday. And I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the podcast, Your Business Untethered, hosted by me, Dina, creator of Way of the Founder. I love hearing from you, so please drop me a DM on Instagram sharing your insights from this episode. And if you are ready to take the leap, my free guides, Plot Your 9-to-5 Escape in 7 days, and the Freedom Business Scorecard are in the show notes for you to grab. If this episode created change for you, please leave a review and be a friend and share this with a friend or colleague that you love. Until next time, please wake every day, seize the day, defy the norm, and create your very own type of freedom. I love you. I do mean it.